I think it's time we talk about the Bo Nix and Drew Brees comparisons that have been thrown out there because for the first time, Sean Payton was pretty much asked point blank by a reporter after an OTA practice. Can you tell us about the comparisons you see between Drew Brees and Bo Nix? So I just wanted to take some time to run through some factual comparisons and then the wishful thinking comparisons that I don't blame Broncos country for wanting to put out in the universe because this is a fan base that is looking for their next franchise quarterback, and first round picks are usually a good spot to find them. Now, before we look at all of the comparisons to be said about these two quarterbacks, I just want to give some love and some shout outs to the Noti gang. Those of you that are first to click on the video and get in the comment section. I noticed Henry was quick on a video last week. The Lord of Liberty is always quick, along with Octavio Rodriguez, Jeff Dykstra, and then Carson Klein. Shout out to all of you for having the notification bell on, I hope/think. And if you want to get on screen and get a shout out, turn your notifications on. That way when a video drops, you're one of the first to comment and I can give you some love on a show. But let's talk about Bo Nix and Drew Brees for a moment here and the comparisons between the two. So let's just start from a physical makeup standpoint. Pre-draft measurements, Bo Nix, 6'2", 214 pounds, 24 years old. Drew Brees was 6 foot, 209 pounds, 22 years old when he was drafted. So from a physical standpoint, they're not miles apart, but I think 2 inches of the quarterback position means a lot, right? That's a little bit of the difference between being a Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, that's kind of looking over your offensive line versus a taller quarterback like Bo Nix that has a really good idea as to what he is looking at when he throws to. So from a physical makeup standpoint, they're not miles apart, but I think it's a little bit incorrect to say, oh, they're so similar. Like, I don't know, how often would you let your 6 foot friend how often would you let your 6 foot friend say they're 6'2"? You'd probably call them out on a dating app for that immediately. So we should do the same for Bo Nix and Drew Brees. Now, the other thing that people love to compare Nix and Brees about is the accuracy, right? Bo Nix last year at Oregon, you can look at his accuracy numbers as far as when he was throwing the ball downfield by different measurements. 51% accuracy on 20-plus yard throws. 10 through 19, 65%. 0 through 9, 81%. I mean, there's a reason why he was the most accurate quarterback in college football last year. Led the FBS in total completion percentage at 77.4 yards. I think it's a little bit surprising to see that Drew Brees was nowhere near where Bo Nix was in his 4 years at Purdue, or 3 years as a starter at Purdue. He had a career completion percentage of 61.8. That's 16 points lower than Bo Nix just finished. So you may be surprised to see that Drew Brees coming out of college did not look like, and again, I can't say for absolute certainty because I was born in 1998. I didn't watch a whole lot of Drew Brees Purdue film, but he did not look like a quarterback that was destined to lead the NFL in completion percentage 6 or 7 times in his NFL career. No, he got to that stage a lot later in his NFL career. In fact, even when he got to the Chargers in 2002, he was a 4-year starter for them. I mean, look at the completion percentage. Sure, it got up towards the end, but I mean, 64, 65, those are solid numbers. They're average numbers, but they're not 77, and they definitely don't look like someone that's going to lead the NFL in completion percentage. So, Bo Nix, I beg your pardon, Drew Brees, it took some work to get to where he eventually finished at the top of the mountain. Whereas Bo Nix, it's not easy to say or fair to say that because he threw 77 completion percentage in college, he's going to walk into the NFL as one of the most accurate quarterbacks in college football. No, that's not going to be a simple apples-to-apples jump you see them make. So then we have Sean Payton, by the way, and that's where things kind of changed dramatically for Drew Brees. And I'm not going to inject myself into, did Sean Payton save Drew Brees? Did Drew Brees make Sean Payton debate? If that's even one to be had. They worked so well together for a lot of reasons. But once Sean Payton got a hold of Drew Brees, there's just no doubt that his career took off, right, compared to where it was at San Diego, where it was good, it was solid. Drew Brees was a very heavily pursued free agent quarterback coming off a major shoulder injury, but he didn't look like a guy that was going to lead the NFL in completion percentage numerous times. And we're going to compare those numbers in just a second here because I think you'll find them very, very interesting. But first, if you want to get yourself this Broncos t-shirt and hat combo, go to chatsports.com/DEN combo. It's 25% off right now, but these deals don't last forever. So chatsports.com/DEN combo to get not just a hat, but also a t-shirt. I put that link in the comments and description of today's video. Now, I want to share some numbers with you guys here, and I know it's a little bit hectic, but just give me a second to explain. It's Drew Brees' accuracy, his first 3 years in New Orleans on the left versus his next 3 years in New Orleans on the right. And you can see that Drew Brees' first 3 years with the Saints are very similar to his next 3 years with the Saints when it comes to various lengths of passes and the attempts doing that, right? 20-plus yard throws down the field. He did that nearly 11% of the time his first 3 years. The next 3 years, a little bit higher, but not even a full percentage point higher. But as you notice, go down the inner side or the right side of both sets of data, the attempt percentage for each length of pass is very similar to one another. Like no attempt percentage is more than 1 point off. However, the completion percentage, look at the difference between the first 3 years and the next 3 years. It jumps up 5 points for 20-plus yard passes. It goes up 2 points for 10 to 19 yard passes, 5 points for 0 to 9 yard passes, and it goes up 2 points for behind the line of scrimmage. And by the way, in that 3-year stretch of 2009 to 2011, Drew Brees was throwing the ball way more than he was his first 3 years in New Orleans. So you might have thought that, Drew Brees eventually just turned into this check down quarterback. That's why his completion percentage went way up. But no, that's not the case at all. Like the amount of passes he had at all the different lengths of distances never really changed much, at least percentage-wise. But the completion percentage went up because Drew Brees just got better. Like people just got to accept sometimes that players can get better, and that just because of what they look like their first 3 or 4 years in the NFL doesn't mean that's what they're going to look like for the entirety of their NFL career. So as people start to make these big Bo Nix, Drew Brees comparisons, take a moment to remember that, sure, Sean Payton definitely helped Drew Brees immensely in his career, but also it's not like Drew Brees just had a really good completion percentage because Sean Payton realized, he can't throw the deep ball, he doesn't have a great enough arm, he's not big enough, we're just going to run a lot of really short intermediate passes. No, that's not true at all. They didn't really change much of their passing concepts from the first 3 years to the next 3 years. The completion percentage just went up because Drew Brees is just a Hall of Fame quarterback. So slow down a little bit when you start to go, Bo Nix is the next Drew Brees because Bo Nix is really accurate at college and Drew Brees was in the NFL. Yeah, Drew Brees was really, really accurate in the NFL because Drew Brees is a really good quarterback. Like, as we just saw, it wasn't like Sean Payton just started drawing up really short passes for him after the first 3 years in New Orleans to skyrocket that completion percentage. Sean Payton, by the way, of course, did speak about this whole subject, and I want to share with you guys what he said. On comparing the two quarterbacks, their personalities are different. I'd say, all right, we're looking for similarities. I would say mentally, Bo wants to know as much and as fast as he can. He's the son of a coach. I think there's maybe a maturity level because, again, he's played 61 games, and when we got Drew, it was off his rookie contract and coming off an injury. He locates the ball well, and he's accurate, and I think Drew was. So, yeah, Sean Payton does not give a definitive similarity. He talks about the mental aspect and the accuracy element. So, yeah, there's similarities, sure. Like, both of these quarterbacks, if you look at their list of strengths, accuracy is going to be at the top of the list. But does Sean Payton have his next Drew Brees? That means Bo Nix is a Hall of Fame quarterback because that's what Drew Brees is. So slow down on those comparisons right there because I'm sure Sean Payton is going to be very happy to see a quarterback run his offense a little bit more like how Drew Brees did versus Russell Wilson, who was more of an impromptu quarterback. But I'm not going to stand here and go like, yep, Bo Nix, that's the next Drew Brees for Sean Payton. Drew Brees is a Hall of Fame quarterback. And if he didn't play in the same era as Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and didn't have to battle the defense and the referees all at the same time, he'd probably have more than just one ring on his finger. But we'll never know. So let me ask you guys this question. Has your opinion on Bo Nix changed since the draft selection? It's funny how nothing really changes at all. It's kind of like college football when the season ends to when we get to the NFL draft. Players' stocks go up and down despite them not playing a snap of football. And that part never really makes sense to me. It's just a product of people being bored for 4 months waiting for the draft. So to make things interesting, they build up guys and they tear down guys. And this, I mean, we've seen a little bit more from Bo Nix since he was at, rookie mini camp, OTAs, and then mandatory mini camp. But still, they're flag football practices and just offensive install. Like, I don't think you can have a hard, opinionated conclusion on Bo Nix after some very few media available OTA sessions. But let me know if your opinion has changed one way or the other. That will do it for us on this edition of the Broncos Breakdown. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Really appreciate all of you who take time out of your day to come hang out with us. We're going to sign off, and we'll see you all later.